Hi, my name is Matt Smith. I'm currently a student at University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. I'm in Dr. Rory Lewis's computer science class. It's CS 1150. And tonight I'm going to go over how to set up a DOS command prompt and run a Java compiler and a short Java file out of it. So let's get started. The first thing I should note on Microsoft Windows is that you need to take particular interest in what version of Windows you have. My directions may differ slightly to Windows Vista, especially Windows XP, and Windows 32-bit compared to Windows 64-bit. So we'll go over those a little bit more in detail further on in the tutorial. Um, the first thing you need to do is obviously go to oracle.com and download their JDK. So that's a Java Development Kit, and it's under their downloads section. You'll scroll down and you'll download the corresponding either 32-bit or 64-bit client. I've downloaded both on my 64-bit workstation here. Once you have that installed, it's time to get going. So go ahead and open a new command prompt window. So that's Windows key R if you didn't know that. Or you can go to Start menu, All Programs, Accessories, and Command Prompt. You may want to run this as an administrator. I don't think it really matters in this project because you don't really need permissions to compile a Java file. But if you need to know, that's right-click, Run as Administrator. Once that comes up, I still need to get mine up, so I'll type CMD here, enter, there's my command prompt. And as you can see, it puts me in the C:users/mat folder. So that's not very handy for me. I need to get into a temporary directory where I can work on these files. So I've already got one created on my desktop here. It is Java TMP, and that's where my temporary directory is. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those icons. And I'm going to navigate to that directory. So that would be CD space desktop. Oops, I need to type desktop and then CD Java TMP. There we go. And CD, if you didn't know, is change directory. Now I can run the dir command. That's the directory command, and we can see what files are in there. It's just some temporary files I was working on earlier. And in this demonstration, we're not going to use a compiler like Eclipse or any of the other ones, JCreator or NetBeans, or it looks like I need to change to Windows Basic. There we go. So we're just going to use a WordPad file. If you don't know how to get a WordPad, that's Start menu, All Programs, Accessories, and then WordPad. Even XP should have WordPad, or at least Notepad. That'll work too. Go ahead and type in your commands that you want to run. I've got a public class in this demonstration, and here's my main string, and I've got a print line, a normal print, and that is basically saying this is a simple mathematic equation. And here is where it actually computes that mathematic equation. This says hello world, howdy new line. So let's get started. And another key point in this demonstration is that you need to make sure that the file you save is a .java file. You do not want to save this as a .doc for those of you using Microsoft Office 2007 or OpenOffice or any version of Word, anything like that. You want to make sure you save it as a plain text file with a .java extension. So I'll show you how to do that. We'll go ahead and save. We want to navigate to our temporary directory. So mine is desktop. I'll go down to Java temp. And you can see that it put the .text file at the end, .txt at the end. I want to just erase that and save it as hello world.java. Now I'm going to pause here and mention that because I included this public class and hello world, I need to make sure that this is case sensitive. Hello world is a case sensitive class, and being such, that I typed it in caps, I need to make sure that that matches up. So you also need to pay attention to the capitalization of your script file. So I've got mine all set. I'm just going to save that. And it's asking me, you sure you want to save this? Yes. And let's get that out of the way. We'll go check the temporary directory. And there it is, hello world.java. So in order to compile this in the DOS window, we'll get that back up here, there's a key point you need to do, and it's called setting a path. And what that is there's paths that are defaulted in Windows. By default, the System32 path, C drive, C:\/ System32, or C:\/ Windows / System32 is a default directory. So if I were to type ping, which is a network tool used to test network connectivity and send packets to test latency, and if I was to test this, it replies because it knows that I'm talking about that command that's in a directory that's already been set. So think of it like telling the computer, hey, here's a directory with a bunch of executable files that I'm going to run in DOS that I want you to know about. That's basically what it is. It's a set path. So, hey, look, I'm going to run these commands. I don't want to have to type C:\/ Windows / System32 /ping. I don't want to have to type that every time I want to run that command. So this kind of gives you a little shortcut there. With that said, let's go ahead and set the path. So we're going to type set space path equals open quote, and it's much easier for you to navigate to the Java directory for the JDK toolkit rather than trying to type it in, because if any of you are like me, you have not the best typing skills or a fat finger every once in a while. So let's go ahead and navigate to the Java file that's in C drive, and for me it will be program files. Here's another key point. I have a 64-bit operating system, so I have two program files folders. One is x86, that's the 32-bit extensions, so that's where 32-bit program files get installed, and this is where 64-bit program files get installed. Since I installed both versions of the JDK toolkit, it doesn't matter which place I go. So just take note of this. You want to make sure that you get this right. So I'm just going to go into Program Files. If you're on a 32-bit operating system and you installed the x86 version, the 32-bit version, you'll just go into Program Files just like me. You'll go into Java. You'll go into the JDK folder, and you'll go into the bin directory. This is where all the tools are at, all the executables are at. And you'll see right here that there's javac.exe. That's the compiler. That's what we're going to use to get everything going, get the show started. So now that we've got the directory and we've confirmed that we see javac.exe, we're going to click in the address bar up here. Some of you may or may not have this turned on, especially if you're in Windows XP and you've changed your settings. You may not have the address bar up here. You'll need to turn these back on, and I can show you that in a different tutorial, but we're not going to go over that. So now that I've clicked in the address bar and it's nice and highlighted, it's all typed out for me, just right click, copy that out of there. Let's get this out of the way, minimize it. We'll go back to our set path equals open quote, and some of you may want to hit Control V. Well, that doesn't do much for you. That's not going to paste. So we need to right click in this folder and paste it, and there you go, it typed it all out for me. We want to end quote, so that's another quote. And then this is another key point. You need to make sure you put a semicolon, not a colon, a semicolon. That's a dot with a comma underneath it. And then you want to do a %, path, %, enter. And it will not tell you if you mistype this, if you got something wrong, it won't tell you that you messed up. So just double check everything, make sure you got it like I did. You may have a different version of the toolkit. That's okay. Just make sure you copy it out and get it all right, all the numbers and everything correct. The next thing we need to do is set the class. So I'm going to type set class path. So this is setting the class path equal to, and I want to put period. And this is another key reason why you want to have that temporary folder. You want to navigate, change directory into that temporary folder, and this saves you from having to type something like C:\users /mat /desktop /java tmp. That's the same thing as where I'm at. But instead of me having to type that, since I'm already in the directory, as you can see to the left, I'm already navigated to that directory, I can just put a period. That's telling the class path, this folder I'm in right now, this folder that I'm sitting in, the directory I'm in. So period, another semicolon, and then %, class path, %. That's your class path. Go ahead and hit enter. That's everything you need to do. Now what this is going to do is it's going to set up the functionality for you to use something like Java C. If everything's working correctly, you'll be able to type Java C and hit enter, and you'll get a readout of all of the proper syntax and the commands that can be ran by Java C. Like for instance, I could do verbose or source path, a bunch of different extensions here. So that's working. We know that we can compile, we can work with Java now in this command prompt. Now I'll point out that this does not set the path permanently. This is a temporary set path command. This will not permanently set it. If you want the permanent solution, you'll have to go to Start menu, right-click My Computer, and this is the same for any version of Windows across the board, XP, Vista, any of them. Right-click Computer, go to Properties. You'll choose Advanced. If you're on Windows XP, you'll have a bunch of tabs, and you'll choose the Advanced tab. For people on Vista or Windows 7 like me, you'll choose Advanced System Settings. That'll bring up the tabs just like in Windows XP, and you'll see Advanced, and now you'll have Environment Variables. You're asking, what's that? Environment Variables. Well, you can see, look, wait, we're using %, user profile, and you can scroll down through here and see, hey, look, what's that? A path. So you can actually set what we set as the path on this side, which is program files Java JDK 1.7 and so on. You could set that by clicking on path, hitting edit, clicking at the end of the last command, putting a semicolon to separate, because you've got to separate these values out. You can't just stack them on top of each other. See how they're separated? See, there's a semicolon right there. So that tells it, hey, look, here's another command I want to put in there. You'll just right-click, paste, and if you hit OK here, that would permanently set program files Java, that directory, to always be in the path command. So it would allow you to use this Java C without having to do all this stuff that we're doing right now. That's part of the solution. The next one is to click New up here for user variables for your username, because you need to make a class path also. There isn't a class path already generated down here, so you'll have to make one. So we're going to hit New, variable name, class path, variable value. What do you think the value would be? The value is just going to be the directory where you want the classes. This is basically the directory where that .class file that we're about to compile is going to be stored, or a group of class files that are already generated that you already have. It could even be a zip folder full of class files. So you're going to plug that in there. I'm not really going to get into detail about this, but you'd paste that temporary directory in there. So I'm going to get out of here, and let's get back to our DOS prompt. So let's get down to business. Now that everything's working, and we know that by typing Java C, like I showed you, we can compile this, and we're already in the directory where the Java file that we saved earlier is located. So all we'll need to type is hello world.java. Let's try it. So Java C hello world.java. There we go. It compiled. And we know this by going back to the directory and checking, and look at there, we've got a class file, hello world.class. So what do you think the next step might be? Well, we want to make sure that works. We want to make sure that that compile correctly and that we can execute this. So we're just going to type Java this time because we want to run this script now. Java, and then this is another key point. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to type hello world without any capitalization, as you can see. You leave the .java, .class off at this point. You're just going to type hello world. Oh, it gives me a bunch of errors. Main Java language, no class definition, found error, hello world, wrong name. And it's telling me right here, hello world. This should be capital hello world. So let's get back down here and Java, and let's type it correctly this time, see what happens. Hello with capital H, capital W, like I typed it. And there we go. Hello world. Howdy new line. 3.5 times 24 divided by 2 times 6 plus 8 is equal to 260. There you go. You're an expert now. Welcome to Java.